The security door hissed open, revealing the man Zara was contracted to kill. Elias Thorne didn't look like a target. He looked like an impossibility. Sculpted jaw, a suit that cost more than her yearly wage, and eyes the color of old ice. He was studying her file, an impatient frown creasing his brow. "Miss Vanya," he said, not looking up. The name felt alien on her tongue, a quickly manufactured identity. "Your resume is thin. You claim expertise in counter-surveillance and close-quarters combat, yet you have no discernible background before 5 years ago." Zara's heart rate stayed perfectly steady. Her mission profile demanded a low profile. This interview was the biggest risk. "My previous work was highly classified, Mr. Thorne. I had to sign non-disclosure agreements that forbid revealing my clients or operations." He finally looked up. His gaze was immediate, assessing, and unnervingly thorough. He didn't look like he was judging her skills. He looked like he was cataloging her weaknesses. "I'm hiring a bodyguard, Ms. Vanya, not a ghost," he said, voice measured. "Why should I trust a woman I can't vet?" "Because the people trying to kill you aren't going to vet me either," she countered, letting a sharp, practiced confidence enter her voice. "They're going to look for the known veterans, the former military. They won't look at the ghost. They won't look at me until it's too late." Thorne leaned back, a small, dangerous smile playing on his lips. "And what makes you so confident I haven't hired you to test you?" Zara didn't blink. "He knows." The thought flashed, cold and certain. She mentally reviewed her exit strategy. She could be out the window and halfway down the building before his guards even drew their weapons. "If you had, Mr. Thorne," she said, her voice dropping to a near whisper, "we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd already know where your hidden panic room is. I'd know your security codes, and I'd know the quickest way to permanently disable this room's defenses. But since I only know what a stranger would, I'm waiting for your decision." The silence stretched. Thorne stared at her for another beat, then he picked up a sleek, silver pen and tapped it twice on the desk. "Welcome aboard, Ms. Vanya," he said evenly. "Your first assignment starts now. We're leaving for a fundraiser in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That was enough time. Enough time to find the best angle, enough time to switch the syringe she had hidden in her watch. She had the job. Now, all she had to do was commit murder. The fluorescent light in the interrogation room hummed, illuminating the dust motes hanging in the air. Zara sat across a polished steel table from Silas. Silas wasn't a man. He was an institution, the face of the shadowy consortium that controlled every aspect of her precarious life. "Your debt is due, Zara," Silas said, his voice flat, emotionless. He slid a thick dossier across the table. On the cover, in bold, black letters, was the name, Elias Thorne. Zara didn't touch the file. She knew what it meant. "I finished the extraction job in Prague. I cleared half the account." "A minor fraction," Silas corrected, tapping the file. "Your sister's medical treatment in our facilities is expensive. Her life support alone costs more in a week than you earned in Prague in a month. This is the only way to settle the ledger." Zara finally looked at the photo of Thorne. He looked exactly as he had in person, arrogant, untouchable. Why him? Elias Thorne is protected by an army of lawyers and his own tech. What does he have that you want? "He has Project Chimera," Silas explained, leaning forward just enough to be menacing. "A defensive security system that, if deployed, would make our current operations untenable. He calls it defense. We call it corporate suffocation. He needs to be removed permanently, and the data needs to be retrieved." "Assassination is messy," Zara said, her voice barely a tremor. She hated this. She hated the desperation that drove her. "If I fail, my fingerprints will be everywhere. I won't just owe you. I'll be in prison." Silas gave her a thin, chilling smile. "You won't fail. We have manufactured an identity, a background, and a reputation that is just plausible enough for his security team to accept. You will be his shadow. You will be closer to him than anyone else. He will trust you." He pushed a small, clear packet containing a microchip across the table. "This chip is programmed to download the Chimera data immediately upon insertion into his main server. When the download is complete, you will use this." Silas then revealed a small, sleek injector gun. "Untraceable, quick-acting neurotoxin. Looks like a heart attack, perhaps an adverse reaction to altitude or stress. Plain, fast, final. You kill him, you save your sister. It's that simple, Zara. Do this and you are free. Failure means not only your imprisonment but the immediate cessation of your sister's care. Zara's eyes flashed with a deep, cold resolution. She looked at the injector gun, then at the photo of Elias Thorne. She had no choice. I accept, she whispered, her voice a vow and a curse. The air in the ballroom was thick with expensive perfume and ambition. Crystal chandeliers cast fractured light over a sea of tailored suits and evening gowns. Elias Thorne looked utterly at ease, a natural predator in his habitat, effortlessly drawing attention as he worked the room. Zara stood 3 paces behind him, a dark, motionless silhouette in the gilded chaos. Every nerve ending was tuned to the environment. The sudden hush near the bar, the waiters moving too fast, the angle of the vent above their heads. This was it. She saw her opening. Thorne paused near a secluded balcony entrance to speak with a powerful senator. The area was momentarily blind to the roaming security cameras. Zara discreetly reached under her cuff, her fingers brushing the sleek, cool metal of the injector gun she had miniaturized and concealed. Now, get him alone for 5 seconds. She was about to suggest a move to a quieter area when her own peripheral vision snagged on something out of place. A waiter walking too casually, carrying a tray of empty champagne flutes. But his elbow was cocked at the wrong angle, and his eyes weren't focused on the floor. They were locked on Thorne's lower back. It wasn't a champagne tray. It was a cover. In less than a second, Zara recognized the threat. A silent, compressed air dart gun hidden beneath the linen napkin, capable of injecting a potent, non-lethal knockout drug, designed to incapacitate him for an abduction. No one else saw it. Not the senator, not Thorne, and certainly not the private security detail stationed by the main entrance. This isn't my problem, a cold voice argued in Zara's mind. Let the rival kidnapping succeed. It complicates the assassination, but it gets him out of the building. My mission is the data and his death, not his safety. But the image of Silas's cold eyes, and the stark thought of the Project Chimera data falling into the consortium's hands before she could secure it, flashed violently in her mind. If Thorne was taken, the data would vanish and her sister's fate would be sealed. She had to keep him alive long enough to complete her kill. Mr. Thorne, Zara's voice was low, cutting through the ambient noise like a knife. She didn't wait. Before Thorne could react, she seized the collar of his jacket and forcefully pulled him backward, spinning them both. The move was so sudden it looked like a passionate, aggressive embrace to the casual observer. The compressed air dart, aimed at his kidney, struck the senator's jacket instead, embedding itself silently into the thick fabric. Zara immediately released Thorne, pushing him hard behind a velvet curtain near the balcony. She didn't bother to look at the bewildered senator. "We have to move," she ordered, her eyes scanning the area for the fleeing waiter. "Now." Thorne, utterly taken aback, adjusted his jacket and glared at her. "What in God's name was that, Miss Vanya? You just assaulted a sitting senator and manhandled me. Explain yourself." Zara met his furious gaze, her own steady and icy. "Your life was just saved, Mr. Thorne. The waiter at 3 o'clock was carrying a sedative dart gun under his tray. Your move to the balcony made you a clear target. He's gone now. You owe me an explanation for why I wasn't informed you had other enemies attempting to kidnap you." The fury slowly bled out of Thorne's expression, replaced by a calculating, chilling seriousness. He glanced back at the spot where the waiter had been, then back at Zara. He didn't ask how she knew. He simply nodded once. "A rival firm trying to steal Chimera," Thorne admitted, his voice tight. "They prefer theft to murder. But your observation was extraordinary. You're worth the absurd salary, Miss Vanya." "Damn it," Zara thought, her hand slipping away from the hidden injector. "I just saved the man I'm supposed to kill." But who exactly is Elias Thorne, and why is everyone after the Chimera project with him at its core? Will Zara live long enough to uncover the truth? Or will Elias discover he just hired the assassin sent to end his life? The air in the penthouse office was chilled, smelling faintly of ozone and expensive scotch. Rain lashed against the full-length windows, turning the city lights into impressionistic smears. Elias Thorne was pacing, dictating an aggressive memo into a handheld recorder. He was deliberately ignoring Zara, who was positioned near the office exit, her back straight, monitoring the biometric screens of the building's security system. "Zara, pour me a drink," Elias commanded abruptly, not stopping his dictation. Waterford crystal, 2 fingers of the balvenie on the top shelf. No ice. It was a small, personal request, a line he hadn't crossed before. It forced her to divert her attention from the room, from the monitoring screens, and from her weapon. Zara didn't hesitate. She moved to the illuminated bar, her movements economical and efficient. As her back was turned, Elias's finger, slick with sweat, hovered over a button on his desk. A silent alarm linked directly to external police forces. "Are you familiar with the concept of sacrificial security, Ms. Vanya?" Elias asked, his tone dangerously casual as she placed the glass in his hand. "Yes, Mr. Thorne," Zara replied, her eyes sweeping the room's corners before settling back on him. "It's the principle of deliberately exposing a low-value asset to draw out a high-value threat." "Exactly," he murmured, taking a slow sip. He smiled, a cold, humorless expression. "I want you to access the secure server in the West Wing. There's a file labeled Sentinel. Download it to this thumb drive." He tossed the standard, unmarked drive onto the desk. Zara's internal alarm bells went off instantly. The West Wing server held the bulk of the Project Chimera schematics. This wasn't a test of protection. This was a test of integrity. This was the moment she could insert the consortium's chip. "Sir, accessing that server requires level 5 clearance and 2-factor authentication," Zara stated calmly. "It's not within my security parameters." "I know the parameters," Elias said, his voice dropping an octave, challenging her. "But I'm giving you a direct order. If I can't trust my security detail to follow simple instructions late at night, I certainly can't trust them with my life. Obey the order or you're fired." Fired? That meant losing access, losing her sister's lifeline. But doing it would put her in front of the data, the true prize. The chance to complete the mission, the chance to finally be free. Zara's hand instinctively tightened into a fist inside her pocket, touching the hidden microchip. This was the perfect opportunity. "Consider it done, Mr. Thorne," she said, her voice flat, devoid of emotion. She pivoted toward the door, taking the thumb drive. But as she reached the door, Elias spoke again, his voice now gentle, almost intimate. "Wait, Zara." She stopped, tensing. Elias walked slowly around his massive mahogany desk, closing the distance between them. "I hired you because you saved my life and because you were honest about being a ghost. I didn't hire you to run my errands." He reached past her and pressed a small, unmarked button disguised into the molding of the doorframe. The secure door immediately locked with a heavy metallic thunk. "The Sentinel file is actually a list of former employees who were caught attempting corporate espionage," he revealed, his eyes piercing hers. "The thumb drive is inert. The server access is a trap. I wanted to see if the promise of sensitive data could override your protective duty. I wanted to see if you would abandon your post to follow a questionable order." He watched her face for any flicker of deceit, but Zara's expression remained perfectly controlled. "I follow orders, Mr. Thorne. I don't question them," she replied evenly, her heart pounding a furious rhythm against her ribs. She was relieved she hadn't activated the chip, but furious he had toyed with her. Elias smiled, a genuine, surprising smile this time, full of dangerous amusement. "Good. Because the real test isn't over." He gestured toward the locked office. "There's a small team downstairs. They know I'm here. And I just locked us inside." The lock on the door wasn't the only sound. A muffled thump followed by the low groan of stressed metal announced the intruder's arrival downstairs. Elias walked back to his desk, but not to take cover. He opened a false bottom drawer and pulled out a sleek, semi-automatic pistol. He checked the clip with a professional, practiced efficiency that surprised Zara. "The team downstairs? They're mine," Elias clarified, his eyes sharp. "They're a real Black Ops unit I hire specifically to test my security and, apparently, my new staff. They don't use lethal force, but they are very good at neutralizing targets." "You locked us in here with them?" Zara hissed, already moving toward the emergency comms panel. "You wanted to see if I would abandon my post, and now you want to see if I'll die protecting it?" "I want to see if you'll save me," Elias corrected, his voice calm amidst the growing distant sounds of breaking glass. "They're coming for the data drive you still have in your hand. Protect me, Zara. That's your job." Suddenly, the overhead lights flickered once and plunged the enormous office into a state of emergency shadow, lit only by the torrential rain and the blinking red safety indicators. We have 2 minutes before they breach the reinforced air vent access point, Zara calculated, ignoring the immediate spike of fear. She moved instantly to the central window, the glass her biggest weakness. Where are you going? Elias asked, moving to follow. They'll use the light outage to mask their approach. The only way out is through the door and they have that covered, Zara whispered, her voice tight. She grabbed Elias's silk tie, yanking him back sharply toward the server rack. Get down. Now. He stumbled, falling against the solid frame of the server. Before he could speak, Zara dropped onto her knees in front of him, using his body as a brief shield. She ripped open a floor panel, exposing the tangle of wires beneath. They're coming through the roof ventilation, she stated, her breath warm on his neck. The unnecessary proximity sent a strange ripple of awareness through Elias. He could smell her, not perfume but the clean, faint scent of cold steel and rain. I'm bypassing the fire suppression system, routing the coolant directly to the air vents, Zara explained, working with blinding speed. It'll flash freeze the vent opening. They'll drop, delayed by 2 minutes. As she finished rerouting the wires, a massive, explosive flash occurred just outside the door. A flashbang grenade designed to momentarily blind and disorient anyone inside. The sound hammered their ears. Before Elias could react, Zara's hands clamped over his ears, pulling his head into the space between her shoulder and neck, cushioning him from the sound and the subsequent shockwave that shuddered through the floor. Elias felt the rapid, steady beat of her heart against his cheek, a beat that was professional, calm, yet intensely physical. For a terrifying, beautiful second, their positions were completely reversed. She was the protector, the shelter, the only thing real in the chaos. Stay low, she ordered, her voice vibrating against his ear, sounding fiercely, intimately protective. She released him, pulling him up into a crouch. Her hand didn't release his arm. It held it, firm and anchoring. My gun is useless in this light, Elias admitted, frustration etching his face. Good. They won't shoot you, Zara muttered, shoving him toward the main desk. Stay here. If they grab me, you run for the panic room under the floorboards behind the safe. Elias watched her move, a blur of dark energy. She didn't retreat, she went toward the threat. Her silhouette was framed by the dark window, lethal and stunning. It was the moment he stopped seeing her as a hired guard and started seeing her as her. I won't leave you, he said, the words surprising even him. Zara paused, her eyes, cat-like and burning in the low light, meeting his. A flicker of confusion crossed her face, a tiny human crack in the assassin's mask. You don't have a choice, she stated, but her voice lacked its usual cold certainty. She then slipped into the shadows, leaving him alone, strangely thrilled and deeply terrified. The attack is over. The Black Ops team has been neutralized and silently escorted out. The office is secure but bears the scars of the struggle. A cracked window panel, singed wires and the lingering scent of ozone. Dawn is just beginning to break, casting a cold, silver light across the devastation. Elias Thorne leaned against his mahogany desk, his posture relaxed, but his eyes were anything but. He was watching Zara, who was meticulously checking the server rack she had tampered with, her movements precise even when exhausted. You took a risk in there, Ms. Vanya, Elias began, his voice low, lacking its earlier demanding edge. Zara didn't look up, snapping the floor panel back into place. All security is a calculated risk, Mr. Thorne. My calculation was that keeping you conscious and safe maximized the chances of retrieving your proprietary data later. And what about you? He pressed. You went toward the threat when I explicitly gave you the option to escape to the panic room and save yourself. She finally rose, her expression a cold mask of professionalism. My sister's life is dependent on my ability to complete this mission and clear my debt. Elias paused, taking in the carefully constructed lie. He stepped closer, reaching out to brush a stray strand of hair from her cheek, a move so intimate it was a violation of all professional boundaries. Zara froze, her muscles tensing, ready to drop him, but held herself back by a thread. His touch was light, almost a ghost, but it felt like a brand. I meant the order I gave you earlier. The one about running an errand. I told you I follow orders, she repeated, her voice a little too tight. You lied, he corrected gently, his eyes searching hers in the half-light. You didn't go to that server because you didn't want to compromise your post. And then, when the flashbang went off, you didn't have to shield me. You put your body between me and the blast. That wasn't professionalism, Zara. That was personal. She took a sharp step back, breaking the dangerous physical contact. It was professional. The company that hired me is paying for a bodyguard, not a widow. Keeping you alive is my one and only directive. Is it? Elias challenged, closing the distance again, his voice dropping to a near whisper. When your hand was on my arm, guiding me, anchoring me, when I felt your heart beating so steady and strong, I felt safe. And that is not a feeling I have known in years, Miss Vanya. It's a very dangerous feeling. He was testing her again, but this time the test was personal, not professional. He wasn't asking for her codes, he was asking for her truth. If you feel safer, Mr. Thorne, then I have done my job successfully, Zara insisted, forcing herself to hold his gaze. Liar, he murmured, his face inches from hers. He reached out and cupped the back of her neck, his thumb resting gently just below her jawline, a silent threat and a profound comfort all at once. You saved me from a dart yesterday, and you saved me from my own overzealous security team today. And I saved you from your own fatal loyalty. We are even, Miss Vanya. But now, I want to know who the real threat is to us. His eyes dropped to her lips, and the air around them crackled with unspoken tension. Zara felt a deep, terrifying certainty. This man who she was contracted to kill was the one person she truly felt safe with. Her sister's life depended on this man's death. I have to get out of here, she thought, the assassin's resolve warring with the woman's longing. The real threat, Zara said, her voice shaking slightly as she brought her hands up, not to strike but to push him away, is that you are a client and I am a professional. And you are crossing a line, Mr. Thorne. Elias didn't back down. I am. And what are you going to do about it? The question hung heavy in the silence. Zara knew the correct, professional response. Neutralize the threat. But this was Elias. Instead of answering, she simply pulled her hands back and moved swiftly past him, her escape fueled by self-preservation. My shift is over, sir. Your day security team is waiting in the lobby. I suggest you get some rest. She left the room without another word, her heart screaming in alarm. She had just failed her most important mission. She had failed to kill him emotionally, and now she knew she couldn't kill him physically. Zara's anxiety was a physical weight. After leaving his office, she was on edge, but Elias had surprised her. Instead of asking her back, he had called her in the late afternoon and asked her to accompany him to a private, undisclosed location. A massive, state-of-the-art medical research facility. What is this place, Mr. Thorne? Zara asked, stepping past the biometric scanner. The air here was clean, sterile, and quiet. Elias, wearing casual clothes for once, a simple sweater and jeans, turned to her. This is where the real work happens. Thorne Industries funds this. We don't just build security systems. We fight the things security systems can't stop. He led her down a quiet corridor and stopped at a large glass panel. Inside, scientists in lab coats worked meticulously around advanced medical equipment. This is the Thorne Medical Foundation, he explained, his voice losing its CEO edge and becoming genuinely soft. It specializes in rare neurological disorders, the kind that slip through the cracks of government funding. He pointed to a specific, secluded wing of the lab. See that machine? It's powered by the algorithms of Project Chimera. We didn't build it to sell defense tech. We built it to analyze millions of strands of DNA and RNA sequence variations to predict, and ultimately cure, illnesses like the one that took my mother. Zara felt a sickening lurch in her stomach. Rare neurological disorders. She knew that phrase too well. That's beautiful work, Zara managed, her voice hollow. It is, Elias agreed, looking at her intently. And that's why Project Chimera is so vital. The consortium, the people trying to steal the data, they don't care about the cure. They want to weaponize the predictive modeling, selling risk assessments to insurance companies, ruining lives. I can't let them have it. He stepped closer to the glass. Sometimes, he said, his gaze distant, I think about the people who are suffering right now, people whose only hope is this research. People with sisters, maybe. People they love. Zara's breath hitched. She felt like a physical weight had dropped into her chest. Her sister. The reason for her debt. The reason for the contract. She finally understood. Elias Thorne wasn't just a good man. He was saving people exactly like her sister. Killing him wasn't just an act of violence. It was an act of global sabotage, dooming countless others to save one. Why are you showing me this? She whispered, her resolve crumbling. Elias turned, his expression open and honest. Because I trust you, Zara. You risked your life for me and I need you to know what you're protecting. We're not fighting corporate raiders, we're fighting for the future. He gave her a small, trusting smile. Let's go. We have a lot of work to do. As Elias walked away, Zara stayed rooted to the spot, staring at the complex, life-saving machine powered by Chimera. The microchip hidden in her hand felt impossibly heavy. She was not just an assassin, she was a death sentence for the world's hope. I have to tell Silas I can't do it. Zara has tried to delay, but the consortium's threat to her sister's life forces her to act. She must choose her blood over the world's hope. It was 2 a.m. Zara was sitting silently in Elias's heavily secured apartment, positioned on the plush sofa. Earlier that night, Silas's message had been delivered with brutal efficiency. Fail now and your sister dies at dawn. She looked across the room at Elias, who was finally asleep on the sofa opposite her, exhausted after a late video conference about a breakthrough in the Chimera data analysis. He was curled up, looking boyishly innocent, the picture of the good man she had come to love and hate. Her hand trembled as it rested on the small, silent injector gun hidden beneath the sofa cushion. She had a choice. Betray the man she loved and save her sister, or let her sister die to protect a world that had never protected her. My sister's face, pale and fragile on the ventilator, superimposed itself over Elias's sleeping face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Elias. She stood, moving silently, not as an assassin, but as a ghost walking her own execution path. She reached the sofa and stood over him. Tears blurred her vision for a single, fatal moment. Elias stirred, his eyes fluttering open. He didn't look scared. He looked sleepy, then confused, and finally heartbreakingly understanding. Zara? He murmured, a question mark hanging in the air. She didn't speak. She couldn't. She squeezed her eyes shut, pushing the love, the guilt, and the humanity out of her heart, replacing it with the cold, necessary memory of her sister's need. The gun was silent. The neurotoxin was instantaneous. Elias's eyes glazed over, his hand reaching weakly toward her, before his body slumped back onto the cushion. He died with her name on his lips and a look of profound betrayal in his lifeless eyes. Zara let out a soundless sob, a raw, wrenching sound that was swallowed by the thick silence of the luxurious apartment. She stood there for a full minute, her body shaking, the injector falling uselessly onto the Persian rug. She had done it. She had paid the debt. But the mission wasn't over. With a renewed, cold focus, the assassin took over again. She wiped the tears from her cheeks, retrieved the silent gun, and walked to Elias's main server station. She located the access panel, pulled out the consortium's microchip, and slid it into the port. The small LED light on the chip turned a steady, lethal green. The download began. Project Chimera was being copied, line by line, to its new destructive owners. Zara stood over the silent terminal, looking back at the man who trusted her, the good man she had killed, the man who had loved her. I'm free, she thought, the word tasting like ash. She had saved her sister, but she had lost her soul. She pulled the microchip, the data secured, and slipped out into the dawn. Her mission for the consortium was complete, but her real mission was just beginning. 3 days later, Zara stood in the sterile, windowless room across the table from Silas. She had delivered the Chimera data, and the consortium was celebrating. You performed admirably, Agent Vanya, Silas stated, a rare hint of satisfaction in his voice. Project Chimera is ours, Thorne is dead, and your account is clear. Your sister's life support will be maintained indefinitely, and you are free to walk away, a ghost once more. He pushed a thick file of new identity papers across the table. Zara didn't touch them. I don't need new papers, Silas. I need an assurance. No one else knows I exist. No one else knows my sister exists. I need your word that you will never ever look for either of us again. Silas chuckled, a dry, rasping sound. You're asking the master to promise not to check on his prize tool? Impossible. Then the deal isn't complete, Zara said simply, her hand reaching under the table. You said I was free to walk away. But I will never be free as long as you have the power to hunt me. Silas's eyes narrowed, finally sensing the danger. He started to stand, reaching for his own hidden weapon. You didn't just kill Elias Thorne, Silas, Zara said, pulling out the genuine lethal neurotoxin injector, its needle glinting under the harsh light. I killed the dead. I killed the ghost. And now, I kill the only person who knows my name. Silas never got his weapon out. Zara's attack was final, silent, and fast. The only man who knew the assassin's secret was gone. A week later, Elias Thorne woke up in a sealed morgue drawer. She hadn't used the lethal neurotoxin. Instead, she had used a highly potent, proprietary anesthetic, a compound developed by the consortium itself for deep-cover abductions. It mimicked cardiac failure and was designed to fool all but the most advanced toxicology reports, inducing a state of deep suspended animation. The initial autopsy report was confused, a cocktail of strange dormant chemicals that mimicked cardiac arrest. He had survived. He had been betrayed, but he was alive. His security team, reeling, rushed him back to safety. A week after that, a small, heavily padded courier box arrived at Thorne's penthouse. Inside was a file, a medical history of a young woman suffering from a rare, severe neurological disorder, the exact disorder that Elias's foundation was specializing in. Attached was an anonymous, handwritten note. I paid my debt. Please accept the highest value asset I have left. Do not look for me. Elias Thorne, still grappling with the betrayal and the miracle of his survival, immediately recognized the medical details. He saw the face of the young woman in the photograph, sweet, vulnerable, and utterly dependent. He knew instantly who she was and who had saved his life. He never found Zara. But in an act of profound gratitude and a desperate search for redemption, Elias Thorne took in the woman who shared his assassin's blood, her sister, and provided her with the highest level of care and security his foundation could offer. He vowed to protect her and to honor the life that Zara had sacrificed for their collective freedom. Zara thought freedom would feel different. She thought killing Silas would sever every chain and every shadow, erase every debt. But men like Silas don't build empires alone. And organizations like his don't disappear because one man falls. They adapt. They evolve. And when a weapon as skilled as Zara suddenly goes off script, someone always comes looking. The night she walked away, she believed she had outsmarted them. She believed saving Elias, and saving her sister, was enough to buy her peace. But in a dark room, far from the city lights, a new handler slid her file across a polished table. A photo of Zara stared back up at him, cold, still, dangerous. She killed Silas, he said calmly. She knows our systems, our methods, our operations. A silent moment. Then, find her. Because Zara wasn't free, not really. She was just a loose end. And in their world, loose ends don't stay alive for long. But what do you think? Will Zara survive what's coming next? Will Elias protect her? Or is this the beginning of a bigger war? Tell me in the comments.